Sup, Nerdmigos, I'm the Jive Talking Nerd, John Norgrove. We've got Wife here, and we're back at it again for, I don't know. I don't have a name for this.
A nerd vlog.
Yeah.
A Jive vlog.
For a nerd Jive. This is just a nerd Jive. Just a regular old nerd Jive. She doesn't get a vote. Don't worry,
video.
guys.
I don't have a name or a vote. Aha.
Yeah, she's nameless and voteless. Wah, wah. No, that's all we're doing here. Yeah. You know, recently, we've noticed a large number of YouTubers doing this sort of like retrospective and then meta-analysis of like what this last year was, as well as like talking out what their plans are for the next year. So that's pretty much what my plan is for this. I kind of wanted to just kind of go over like how this year went, what we did, what worked, what didn't work. And then some of our plans and ideas for next year. So let's go over that, and we'll hang out and have a bit of a drink and kind of go from there.
Yeah.
There's no.
It was a cold January evening.
We're not starting at the beginning of the year. We're just gonna jump around. I don't have the time or patience for that. So I think first up, I wanted to talk about the podcast, which, like, if you're not listening to the podcast and you're just here for the other stuff, that's weird. But I guess, hey, what's up?
Get the full experience.
Yeah, I guess, hey, what's up? That's fair. So the podcast has been doing pretty good. I think that we're gonna stick with the every other week schedule, right? Like we did this year. We missed
for the deep dives. Yeah.
Well, the every other week schedule for the two different versions of the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because we've got the pub chats and we've got the deep dives or like research standard episodes. So I think we're going to stick with those.
It definitely gives me time to like research.
Yeah, it gives her more time to research. Well, as well as it gives us time to sort of explore some more interesting topics, like last year's Santa Claus is Santa Claus and Egregore, and this year's meta-analysis of God King Santa Claus's power set that we released just recently. But
things that don't necessarily go with like research.
Well, things that you can't really research so much is like just like talk out, or sometimes just like a kind of vaguely insane conversation that we've been having for the better part of a week that we just want to like include y'all in sort of energy. Yeah. So obviously this year there were definitely some times where we were not getting episodes out in a timely fashion. Yeah. I think we're still going to target Mondays.
Yeah.
For episodes, and we're going to try and get ahead of the curve on episodes. There was like a window of time earlier this year where we were ahead of the curve, and then the Etsy shop became like a whole busy. And so we just didn't have time. But I've also kind of reworked some of the technical aspects of the Etsy shop, which allows that to not be as time consuming, to like oversimplify and overshare. We used to do 3 racks, which is a unit of dyeing that we do for our Etsy shop. We used to do like 3 racks a week, but we only had 3 racks, which means that each week we had to throw dye, de-rack, re-rack in order to throw dye the next week, right? So everything was very like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
And it had to be done every week. Like,
yeah.
The way that we were doing things in the beginning half of like 2023, both for videos and for podcasts and for Etsy shop stuff, was like every week we had to do these tasks.
Yeah, it was very like in the moment. Like, oh, hey, the new Star Trek episode's out. We're going to get that out immediately. It's Monday. We got to record the podcast. It's, Wednesday and we're ready to de-rack the floss. I have to de-rack the floss like that day. Right. So it meant that like any one thing, like one family thing comes up, the internet's down, which it was down for like a month last year, getting a cold, being out of town for some other stuff. There was like a whole window where my computer was like just having a whole sass. And so a bunch of shit had to be put off because my computer decided to have like bold emotions.
And
about
we had
some
almost
stuff.
a whole month last year without internet at the house,
which did not help,
which was pretty awful. Yeah.
So to that end, we're going to keep doing that, but we're going to try and get a little bit more ahead of schedule with regard to the podcast and in general, most of the videos that we've had, that we do. To that end, there were some things that it's not that they didn't get done, it's that like sort of the conversation about those things got distributed in a different way. And one of the things that kind of fell off the radar in 2023 that we want to do next year more of is vlogs. We were doing those fairly steadily when we did like a trip or a fun or whatever. And these most recent ones, we just have not had the chance to do that this year. We started off this year doing like bare minimum sales in the Etsy shop, and now we are doing like very good numbers in the Etsy shop because of like practical growth and Julie managing the social media and all that kind of stuff. And so it's resulted in this like huge influx of demand, of labor, right?
Which is good.
Which is good.
This.
Yeah, like it's not a complaint at all. But we didn't have the systems in place to handle that, and we had to develop them on the fly. Now those systems are in place, and we can get fairly far ahead. I mean, we won't really hit that pressure place with the systems that we currently have until we like double, maybe even so much as triple our current production amounts.
Yeah.
So we're giving ourselves a lot of room in that. Some upgrades to some technology that we already have, and some upgrades to some technology that are coming soon will help sort of speed that process up.
For those of you wondering, like, why are we talking about an Etsy shop on this YouTube channel? First of all, the Etsy shop is John's main job.
Yeah, that's my
and it is
job.
My like big second job. Hopefully, soon to be my big first job also. It's something that we are really passionate about, and we really love the thing that we're doing there. If you haven't checked it out, definitely check out our Etsy shop. We put a lot of work in it, we put a lot of time in it, and we care about it a lot. And we're relatively new to having this Etsy shop and understanding the seasonal fluctuations
learning
the market that we're in.
Well, as well as like learning the sort of like process of getting all of that stuff going, right? It's that like, you know, you could turn your hobby into a profit center, but turning it into a like
full-time job, into a business,
capital B adult business is a very different thing. But we also we essentially refuse to cut corners, which like isn't like sounds more dramatic than it actually is. But like I don't want to simplify the system with regard to us being able to accomplish and produce like very specialty, very high end and very custom things. We primarily, for those of you who don't know and haven't visited the Etsy shop, we tie-dye through various methods, things like Ada cloth and cotton fabric and embroidery floss and yarn. So we do like custom dyed small batch craftable materials, as well as we sell things like beeswax to support that, because you like wax your thread so it like moves better. And we're going to start doing like
we also already have like flower crowns in there.
Yeah, flower crowns, miniatures. Yeah, because
like printable miniatures.
I've gotten ferociously into miniatures this year. And you've probably heard me talk about it on anything else that you follow me on. So I've gotten a lot into that. So we've been getting into miniatures, and I'm designing printable miniatures that you can like print at home and cut out and like make like books for your fairy garden and stuff like that, or your dollhouse or whatever. So, and to that end, we want to start bringing, and we don't super have a plan on how, but we want to start bringing some of that Etsy stuff into the YouTube channel to show you what we're doing with that. So for Julie, that's probably going to be like the embroidery and
the flower
crown making and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And for me, that's mostly like miniatures and like crafting mini stuff, right?
Yeah.
I have a lifelong relationship with miniatures, not in the like mini dollhouse stuff or like fairy garden stuff, I put in quotes, like, which is like the new thing that I'm doing. But I used to paint like Warhammer 40K figures and like kind of always have. I've built models my entire life. I've gotten into Gundams. I actually, it's a fair transition to the next thing I wanted to talk about. So 2 years ago at Fanime, I bought my first like very high-end Gundam. I am only just finishing it now because I have not had time to do it. And this thing, like a foot, just like one paw of this flippin' Liger Zero Jaeger is like 19 parts that have to be nipped, sanded, affixed. It's so much work, and I love it. It's a lot, but it's like a lot. It's way more than like what I'm used to do. I'm more of like a paint and details, and this is like a very complex construction. But this last year, or this year, I should say, at Fanime, I bought a new Liger, which is Liger Zero X, and I want to build that essentially like on stream with you guys.
Yeah.
Right? And take you through the steps. There are some things that I found are an entire waste of time. And there are some things that I found, like I sand every part 3 times, like through 3 grits. And it's so time consuming and it feels unnecessary, but it also means that sometimes you can't see my flesh, like flush fit lines.
Yeah.
You know? So things like that. And to that end, I want to start, like, we want to start doing not just like instructional videos like for flower crowns or for like miniature books or like miniature bookcases, a thing that like I built while like you were in a meeting one day. I was like, I want to see if I can build a mini bookcase. So I like I did research, designed mini books, printed them out. I was like, these are the right size. And then literally went outside with a mini book and pulled out some like single ply plywood that I had sitting around and just like willy-nillied a bookcase, and it turned out fantastic. I love this bookcase. It sits on like in my space on my shelves over in the corner there. But so like that would be I think a thing that would be interesting to y'all as well as I develop more of that like mini crafty stuff.
Yeah. And we've talked about doing like sewing project videos or like flower crown, not necessarily how-tos, but also just like watch me do the project
like
kind
hangouts.
of thing. The difficulty with some of these kind of videos is that when you are watching a channel and that's their primary thing, there's a lot of editing involved, and we don't really have the time to do all of that
or
editing.
skill. I am going to be the first person to tell you that I am an entirely self-taught editor. And like, yes, I'm using Premiere Pro and I love it and it's great or whatever, but like, dog.
Nor do we have the means to pay for an editor full-time to do all of these things for us.
Yeah.
That may be something in the future, but right now we want to share these facets of our lives with us. Many of you who follow us are friends or family, or maybe you've been following us for long enough and we feel like friends and family to you.
Yeah.
And we always hear from our friends and our family and also complete strangers that we have a lot of very interesting interests and they don't know how we get done all the stuff that we get done in a day. And what we'd really like to do is sort of bring all of you, dear watchers and or listeners, depending on if you're washing the dishes right now while you listen to this YouTube video, is a little bit of a snapshot of the things that we do.
Yeah. A little bit of the things that like,
we are as
on the
people,
things
like a little less focused in one particular zone.
Yeah.
We tend to learn about many things. We want to share many things. We have lots of passions
oh my God,
and
so
interests,
many hobbies.
and we'd really like to share all of those with you so that you can learn with us, grow with us, be excited about projects or trips that things that we're doing.
Teach us a thing that we didn't know.
Yeah.
I am so fucking prepared right now to start building models and miniatures with you guys and have somebody be like, oh, what about this? And just like shatter my reality on live stream as I'm just like, oh, duh. How did I not think about that? Because again, like I didn't like learn from a guy or some shit about a lot of this stuff. A lot of it's just me being like, that's cool. And then I buy the stuff to do it. And I'm like,
and then we're just
oh no,
figuring it out.
I have to learn how to do this. I've done some TikToks about this and I want to do some more of this. in like larger form videos with y'all about my bonsai. I am not at all an expert. I am barely an adult at bonsai. I am at best an angsty teen in bonsai. Dead max, right? But I'm having a ton of fun with it. I've always been interested in bonsai. I have started and failed bonsai many times. Sometimes that failure is like it didn't make it. Most of the time that failure is it's getting weak, so I'm just going to put it in the ground, and now it's just an actual tree. You know what? It started as a bonsai. Now it's just a tree.
However, we have found that
Full-zai.
bonsai is the
Or
way
whatever.
that most things want to grow where we are, because we live in a very specific
We live
climate.
in a weird
And
environment.
bonsai really helps with a lot
So
of plants.
I've gotten into teacup bonsai for like super specialty stuff, and like I'm about ready to get into these like medium size bonsai using. I like making bonsai out of like non-traditional containers. I have no clue why. I've never even seen a thing like this. I saw like a video where this dude was making these like a single 4-leaf clover in like a bonsai cup that was like 1 inch square.
Yeah.
You know, this like tiny cube. And I was like, that's adorable. I want that, but a cuter pot. So I just started collecting
And a larger
teacups
variety
and
of
a larger
plants.
variety. So I started collecting teacups and like mixing my own bonsai soil and doing all that. So like, it's like these kind of things, you know, where I think that it would be fun to bring you guys along with that stuff. And to that end, some of those will be videos and maybe like more edited medium length like kind of videos, a little bit more like infotainment-y. However, again, that's a big take on me editing wise, that I'm not like that's like I'm okay, but I'm not that skilled.
Also, we tend to do our videos that we're doing as like one take. There is very, very little editing and literally any of our content.
That should be obvious if you've ever watched our videos. You hear all the ums and ahs. I know that you can like cut all that stuff out and then it's like faster and zippier and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. To me, this is more about building a community and hanging out with people and less about like producing units of content for money or whatever the hell that is. And like, I'm not saying that that's like a thing that YouTubers are trying to do or whatever. But like, I feel like for me, it's more of like hanging out and like chatting with people and like learning from people and things like that. So we're definitely going to start doing more of that. It's a thing that we talked about last year and wanted to do last year. And we did a little bit of over this last year, but not as much as we would have liked, in like, to be fair, in due part in due to business pressure from our other business, because YouTube and the Etsy shop are, obviously non-overlapping businesses.
Yeah.
Right? Because
well, and also the thing that you see a lot of channels do takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to do, and we're never gonna be that channel.
Oh my god, we never have that much time.
Will we have other channels that perhaps have like a more focused like scope to them? Probably someday, but that day is not today.
Yeah. At that point, we're gonna bifurcate the channels into distinct things.
Yeah.
If it gets there, and I mean, ooh, girl, we would need need a full-time editor and maybe like a showrunner.
Yeah, but also we
like
are
a bigger adult who's more organized.
Yeah, we're busy people. We got a lot of stuff that we're doing, and we really want to share this stuff with you guys. One of the other things that we talked about doing is storytelling, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
Reading to you. And we think that would be really cool. We're not really sure
where that's gonna go or how that's gonna go.
That is that we're gonna read.
Whether that's like what's that called? Like available to the community, open source.
Creative Commons.
Yeah. Creative Commons stuff. You know, like Poe or whoever.
Things that are old enough.
To be honestly things that I'm more interested in, like Poe and Lovecraft.
Yeah, we would love to
read
some
of my own writing.
Yeah, we would love to read more like new things. You see a lot of people on TikTok lives doing this, but there is a lot of legality associated with that
And
could jeopardize
I am not a lawyer.
the channel.
I
So
drink.
we want to try to stay away from that kind of stuff. But yeah, so we've got like a lot of really great ideas. We've got a really huge amount of things that we want to share with you as our listeners, as our followers, as our subscribers, wherever you identify on that spectrum.
Yeah.
And part of the problem is we have so many things that we want to share with you that we kind of have to pick and choose which things we have the bandwidth to share.
Yeah.
And that is difficult for us to do.
And to that end, we plan on in this next year sharing more of that, and a lot of that is going to be in the function and form of live streams, because that requires less effort to kind of put it listen, I'm gonna show you how the sausage is made on these things, my dude. Like, I'm not trying to like make you believe that I'm some sort of like organized YouTuber who has plans and stuff. Like, that is, my dude, I need such a bigger adult for that, and it's not either of us. We're not the bigger adult here with regard to that level of organization and things like that. But one of the things that we have talked about time and time again is sort of doing those live streams. And the benefit of that is that, like, while we're doing a live stream when you're sewing, we can also be talking about whatever the thing is that we recently watched and that.
Yeah.
To that end, also, more transish, I definitely want to bring back movie reviews, horror reviews, something with Star Trek, and I don't precisely know how to do that yet. I don't know what the best way to handle Star Trek is. And I know, like, if you are watching this as soon as this comes out, then you may or may not have heard the news. Warner Brothers is in talks with Paramount to buy Paramount, so Star Trek is in emotional place right now. My dudes, like, I am more scared than I care to admit with Warner Brothers positioning to take Paramount, which would mean that they take over Star Trek, because Warner Brothers makes
Hey guys, what happened to antitrust?
They make not the best decisions. A good example is that they failed to make Superman likable, and that's insane, because Henry Cavill is maybe one of the best humans on Earth, and Superman is the best superhero. I mean, like, I'm not a huge Superman fan, but it's real hard to F that up.
I mean, he's
dude.
very...
I watched all of Smallville, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's like very core to like the whole superhero mythos.
To the hero archetype, my dude.
Yeah.
Like,
he is like the original superhero
how do you
archetype.
F that up, you know?
I mean, like, you can argue with that if you want, but we mean like kind of comic book superheroes.
Yeah.
So like we want to bring that stuff back, but we're not really sure what that looks like, and it's been difficult for us trying to do like Trek Jive, like Star Trek reviews, like as soon as they come out, because we just don't live a life that makes sense.
Oh, my dude. Sometimes we are watching the newest episode of Star Trek
on Monday.
And
it comes out on Thursday.
And sometimes we're watching it Thursday, but at like 11:59.
And I am barely keeping my eyes open.
That's not whatever. So I don't think that Trek Jive is going to be... I don't know if making Trek Jive a week-to-week thing is the best option. I feel like Trek Jive may be sort of here and there multi-episode review thing. I feel, and obviously everything that we're talking about, it took me 24 minutes or however long we've been recording for and talking for, to bring this up. But the reason why we're talking to you about this is because I want your input. I want to know what you think about these ideas. Do you have ideas? Is there something you want to hear from us about? Right? But
is there something you want more of?
Or less of? Yeah, we're not going to listen to the less ofs. Listen, you're going to get more of that because you brought it up.
Vetoed.
We did that to you. No. Definitely if something's like, let us know and then we will, or whatever. But like, you know, I don't know if I like the idea of waiting until the entire season's done and doing like a full season recap. That seems melodramatic.
Or maybe you talk about something entirely different.
Yeah. So I feel like Trek Jive may become more of a, every 4 or 5 episodes thing. Some shows it might behoove like off the cuff, I would say that maybe Discovery deserves the full season before we make a conversation about it.
Mm-hmm.
Just because every episode plays into the next with such tightness that that needs to happen, and the week to week hot takes may shift to a 3-minute hot take on my TikTok.
Yeah.
Right? And then the YouTube video is a deeper dive into the season, its relationship with Star Trek the universe, and what we think about those characters and that kind of stuff is kind of the way I'm leaning. But there are certainly some shows that if we were planning on doing wait until the end of the season, after the sing-along episode of Strange New Worlds, we would have put a video out.
Yeah.
And just been episodes 1 through 6, because episodes 1 through 5 were gangster, but 6 words. Because it was amazing and you need to know. So I feel like a lot of this is going to be not as scheduled as I understand the algorithm wants, and that's cute, it's great, but I'm human, I'm not a robot, I just play one on TV.
I think what we're really trying to get at here is we have so many things that we want to do. And with the exception of the podcast, because that is chugging along quite nicely. We're in year 4. We're really happy with where that's going. And
we can podcast ahead of time. I can't make Trek Jive 2 weeks from now, my dude.
Exactly. I think what we're trying to get at is that we have a lot of things we want to share with you. And trying to stick to the structure of, we have to do X video, and we have to do a podcast video.
Monday is the podcast, and Thursday is Trek Jive.
I think that's a lot harder for us to do than to say, okay, we're going to put out 3 videos a week. And they're just about whatever it is that we're currently hyper focusing on. A couple of weeks ago, we went to the store, and then I saw this cute little advent calendar house, and then literally spent 2 whole days making it like a folk painting. Mm-hmm. And so things like that, where we're doing a project, we're talking about a thing. So are you going to hear about Star Trek from us? Absolutely. Are you going to hear about miniatures? Absolutely. Are you going to hear about
sewing projects,
costumes, flower crowns? Absolutely. But it's not going to be an every single week kind of thing, I don't think. At least right now. When things change and
we have the larger adults to do the scheduling and editing.
That's me.
Maybe that'll happen. It's even larger an adult than you.
Than me.
We need a bigger adult.
So eventually we would love adults. To do that. Is Tuesdays we do this video.
Maybe Louditz. How you doing, girl?
Or whatever. But that show is so good.
We need to talk about that show, my guy.
So, we have a lot of things we want to talk about. We'd like to do rankings of different types of shows and different types of people. We have so much that we want to share with you. It's difficult for us to decide on just one thing. So we'll probably be switching to the podcast episode once a week, and then however many episodes we think we can reasonably put out with consistency for the rest of that week. And I just threw out 3 before because that was I'm guessing
it'll probably be about 3 videos a week, but it's not gonna be so when we first started trying to do this, and we tried to do this in bloody during the apocalypse, and we tried to do this last year. This year, it's still 2023. We tried to do this year, and conceptually it works, but in practice it relies a little too heavily on an in the moment thing, right? I would love to be able to sit down and do Trek Jive with you guys every Thursday night. So you can watch that episode and then click over to YouTube and watch me break that down or whatever. But that's just not my schedule. Honestly, if we lived in the UK where we were ahead in time, but we're kind of at the end of time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're at the end of time.
So it's
we're at the end of time, and maybe soon we'll be at the end of times.
Yeah, well, I mean,
we're
living in a weird place.
Yeah,
but so we want to do more of that sharing, but in that act, things are going to be separated, like the different genre of things that we're doing are going to be separated more in time. We are going to do more review Jive and more horror Jive. We've gotten great feedback from you guys on that in the past. We love horror movies. We have a lot of opinions about horror movies. And like we watch pretty much every new horror movie that comes out in a year.
We also read a lot of books, and we would
definitely
want to
go
share
over books.
our thoughts on books with you. Lately, we have had a bunch of people that we know ask us for book recommendations. Y'all, I wish that we could share our, like, not necessarily, I mean, definitely if we could share our Audible library with you so that you don't have to pay extra money for it, that'd be great. But that is not the life that we live. I would love to share what our library is of the stuff that we have.
And what we
because
read.
we read a lot of books.
Yeah.
And
I mean, right now, we're in the middle of Dune.
And I got feelings.
And
I got so many words.
We'll have so much to say.
And neither of us have ever read Dune before.
Yeah, I'm a big science fiction boy, and I put Dune off, and frankly, I feel bad.
A little, yeah.
I'm upset with myself about that because of the opinions.
And we also recently saw the new Wonka movie, and we have a lot of feelings about that too.
I have been meaning to make a fucking TikTok review of that movie for like a week now, and every time I'm like, I'm gonna make this review, and then like by the time I'm done with whatever around the house or on the property task I'm doing, I'm like, okay, now I can like start a fire in the fireplace, and then oh no, it's dark outside, I was gonna record that outside.
Yeah.
And if I don't sit down and eat some food, maybe I turn off.
Yep.
You know?
We also really enjoy thrifting, and we would love to share thrifting hauls with you.
Yeah.
And
oh my god, we found so much cool
for
stuff
those
today.
of you that are local to us in Sonoma County, we are planning on doing a like tea time dining experience this spring. And we are gearing up
in the process
for
of making a lot of fairy stuff. So we can do a fairy tea party in the spring, which is going to be like video. We're going to have photos.
So the fairy tea party,
thing.
The idea, so that y'all can get hyped and you can start making your fairy costumes now, is we're going to have Fae. Just Fae.
Bigger than fairy.
Bigger than fairy.
Yeah.
Fae.
You don't gotta have wings if you're like not into that.
We're going to have a meal, a fully curated and cooked by us meal, with ingredients that are as locally sourced as we can possibly get.
So good.
We'll have local wildflowers. We have a bunch of tea sets that we've been acquiring. John has been making a lovely teacup bonsais, and we want to put together
as well as
curated photo areas for you. So think a beautiful gilded hand mirror on a like mossy table in the woods. Think a beautiful grass colored fur blankets on the ground for you to lounge and pretend to read a book with underneath a tree. A bunch of mushroom decorations, a whole thing. So not just photo booth opportunity places, but also we want to share with you our foods, and we want to share with you the things that we're particularly interested in. We both have a great love for cooking and entertaining and throwing a party, and we really want to take this idea of the costume party up to the next level. So we are also going to be preparing for that throughout the year, and we would love to be able to share.
Well, and we want to bring you along with that. Some of the stuff is like I say simple. It's
not simple.
It's so stressful. But these teacup bonsai, dude, let me tell you how often I touch these fucking rocks. I am like the most doting plant dad about these fucking bonsai.
He is. Right now they're in the bathroom in case it gets too cold.
Yeah. Well,
they're just around the bathtub.
The bathroom has like a good functional humidity balance that the rest of the house doesn't have, except for my boy who is in a pumpkin gravy boat, who is very sassy, and that dude drinks water like it's his whole last job. I understand that it's a plant. Of course it drinks water, but like, no, not like this. But so like, I want to bring you along for those.
For those of you that were at our wedding, this is we expect this to be an event that was as similar in party scope as our wedding, where we made all the decorations, we curated all the food, we had flower crowns for people to wear, we had areas where people could do little crafty stuff if they wanted to.
Well, and we're gonna do all of that for this event, which means that the videos that are gonna come out around this event, like precursorily, right, are not just teacup bonsai, but it's gonna be like shield making, because I need to make a bunch of shields. I'm gonna use chainsaw and downed redwood trees that I have on my property, like deadfall, to make things like mushroom tables. I'm gonna do a live edge, like moss river table in the middle. We also want to share a lot of our gardening videos. I'm a pretty avid gardener, not good or a professional. I'm not a doctor gardener. But like we're gonna do more gardening and things like that. So we're going to have a lot of videos in and around that event as like a precursor. So join me as you watch me do chainsaw stuff as best as I can. Or like build tables as best as I can. So basically, I want to get you guys involved in a lot of that.
Join us in our life as we're doing the things that we like to do as best as we can. That's basically what we're gonna do.
Well, and like we've done videos before about like candle making, but I've never really taken you guys along on like the full journey and really talked you all the way through my like insane relationship with candles in this house. Because I love candles, but also I fucking hate modern candles with a fiery passion that consumes my soul.
Also,
soy wax. She's
soy,
allergic to soy, so soy wax is not great already. And like a lot of candle making is just, it's like overly scented and like fake. And I buy local, like locally sourced beeswax.
And we would like to create our own locally sourced beeswax.
Oh my God.
We've really been wanting to get bees.
Oh, if I can get bees this upcoming year in 2024, and it's a big thing on my list. It's maybe the biggest thing on my list for this upcoming year is to get bees. I love bees.
Brewing and bees.
Ferociously.
The two bees.
So yeah, it's my two favorite bees. Yeah, that doesn't sound crimey. I'll let it slide. I said that and was like, no, yeah, I'll let it. But
brews and bugs.
Yeah, brews and bugs. I definitely want to get it more in, like, get into beekeeping. What's the word for that? What's the science word for beekeeping?
Remember. It doesn't matter.
Whatever.
Continue.
Whatever that is. I definitely want to get into beekeeping, and I have like several friends who are in it, and like we've got all the stuff like reasonably locally. So we're gonna get into beekeeping. I hope it's this year. I'm trying very hard for that. As well as, and this is a thing that I have had so many people talk to me about home brewing, because I spent a large portion of my adult life working in craft beer, and I've made bloody fruit wine, I've brewed beer, I've brewed cider, I've brewed mead, I've done all that stuff. I have a tenuous grasp of the science. I mean, I get it. For me, it's like vibes. I do everything with vibes, whatever. I'm a nightmare. I'm one of those nightmare scientists, you know? But like I did it with vibes. And I'm pretty good at it, and it definitely makes drink. So I want to bring you guys along for more brewing and brewing science and tips and tricks. And you know, not just like larger batch, like, you know, the default answer is 5-gallon boy stuff, but I want to start doing like 1 and 2 gallon stuff. I want to get more into that. We actually just found like the honey source that I want to use for my mead, because I love mead. I'm a big mead drinker. But again, it's not the cheapest thing to buy, and it's certainly not the easiest thing to get your hands on if you don't live in a place where it's being locally produced. Same thing with cider. Out where we live, like there's a big apple thing.
Yeah, there's a huge apple. We live in the wine country, so lots of apples.
Yeah.
Lots of wine, lots of
I mean,
beer.
you know what? We might even get some grapes and try
Lots
and do
of
some wine.
cannabis.
I've never done wine, but it's fermentation is fermentation, and as far as I've ever done, it's all vaguely the same thing, but with just a different target. So we definitely want to bring you along for those things, and also there might be other people in those videos because there's a small herd of people who have asked me to brew with them and to help them in brewing because they want to get into it also. And you know what? I'm fairly good at it. I've definitely brewed like award-winning beverages before, and so like we want to get into that. And so again, this is part of the sort of greater culture, the greater like what do you call that? Lifestyle. Yeah, I hate that term. Like
I also hate it too.
Like
it
lifestyle
sounds...
vibe we're trying to do with this upcoming year and bring you along in a lot of these like fun little things that we do. Like things that we rarely ever talk about on like in episodes that we want to get involved, like we want to involve you guys with more. Like we both do a lot of art and we both sell art, like produce and sell art.
Yeah. I've recently been rediscovering my love of painting.
Yeah.
So that's very exciting for me. And I'm really excited to do more painting. Am I going to paint like Bob Ross? No, not at all.
Nobody can. That guy is an absolute
But I enjoy
T2000.
doing it. So I may take you along and see what it looks like. You know,
yeah, totally.
You know,
and we have like I mean, like little stuff like land work stuff. We live in a redwood forest, and like I'm a big gardener, and one of the things I want to do is rehabilitate the redwoods around me and turn it into like a food forest sort of situation. I know that you can get better fucking efficiency out of like, you know, perfectly spaced crops or whatever the hell. Like that's not my vibe. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to grow stuff like the way that I feel is most respectful to nature, you know? You know, and take you guys along with construction projects and weird stuff. I mean, I built like 4 benches the day of a party because we needed more seating in the house, and I had enough 2x6s to do it.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like that kind of thing. Like we want to bring you guys along with this stuff and like have a good time.
Yeah, but also we want to know what you particularly enjoy. So if there's a particular thing that we've talked about in this rambling mess that you're excited about, let us know. That you're interested in, that you'd like to hear more of. Please tell us.
Before we can obviously do more food stuff. Julie bakes a lot, and she's like dialed her bread in, and like
because I can't eat store-bought bread because it's made with soy.
We literally don't buy store-bought bread at all. Like I get hot dog buns sometimes, but also it means that I gotta go through a fucking buttload of hot dog buns
by yourself.
By myself. Don't worry. I love chili dogs with a ferocious.
Yeah. So that's what we have been doing with this channel. That's what we like sort of have in the future
as like vibes
for this channel, and we're excited for 2024. We're gonna have a great year, and we hope that you have a great year also.
Yeah,
and we're excited to have you along with us as we do our life.
More hangout, more like chill space stuff. More of a look into our intrigues. I mean, we've had several people reach out to us, and we've been talking about this for a while, about doing like sort of online classes. I have literally no fucking clue how we would do that.
I do. It's okay.
But
if you've got ideas, you put them in there.
But
I am the one who gets that stuff
we're gonna do more of that. We're gonna do some of that, I guess, is a more accurate way to say that. Doing vlogs, doing these like photo opportunity things. We've done several photo shoots. If you've never been over to nerdjive.com, our website, like go over there, check that out. It's got like some write-ups from us. It's got some sample stuff from the book that I'm working on, which is just, dude, I have
another thing we should probably share.
So much written and 3 things edited.
Yeah.
So like that kind of a thing. But also like the photo shoot stuff and things like that. And obviously, like if you're local and or a friend or like you know us or you want to know us and you're just round Sonoma County, like hit us up. We're always willing to like hang out and have a good time.
Yeah.
If you have a thing that you think that you would love to hear our like opinion about, right? Whether it's like of like movie review stuff or bloody hangouts or a vlog or any of that kind of thing, like let us know. Again, we're fairly open books about this stuff, and we're trying to forge a community less of infotainment production and more of like just chill people hanging out.
Yeah.
And having a good time and just like bullshitting about stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot less of like a thought essay and a lot more of like having a hangout with your pal and having them like really get into the thing they like.
More riff. Yeah. Also, like threat / promise. Like there may be a few like 4-hour video essays coming out this upcoming year, because there are some things that we've been like, oh, we want to do this thing, and the more we talk about it, the more we realize that it's like, oh, this is gonna be long. We're gonna talk for a while. This is a while
longer than our normal videos. That
is our videos and the podcast and stuff like that. So we're gonna kind of chill the vibe, man. I feel like we've been trying to chase that like business energy that a lot of tubers do, and like I get that that's quite gangster for the algorithm, and I respect that. But that's like not my thing, dude. Like I don't care about the fucking algorithm, man. Like I know that it helps or whatever.
Well, but mostly we're people. And we have
we're people who live in like the real ass world
that happen in our life, and because this channel is never going to be as focused as somebody who does a channel about just one thing, you're never really gonna get that here. So the algorithm is not that we don't care about it, and that's why we're doing this. We're so whatever, but
we're not whatever at all.
Is more like that's not how we are as people, but also we are people who have a full life outside of this channel. And that is sort of the main piece of it is people's lives don't fit neatly into an algorithm. And that's kind of what it is that we're trying to embody.
Yeah, totally. And, we definitely have stuff that we want to do, like bonus stuff for the podcast, and there's more stuff we want to do for the Patreon, and there's more stuff that we want to do for the YouTube channel and for our TikToks and for other TikToks and bloody social media, and it's just like a whole
bunch of stuff.
There's so much stuff. I have so much writing to do.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be fun. And, it's gonna be fun. And the main takeaway here is that we want to bring y'all along with it, not just as consumers of sound and color, but as like individually free spirits who are going to judge and communicate with us. Like, let us know what you want. Let us know what you think. Hell, if the thing that y'all want is like every Thursday, as soon as that Trek comes out, you want that video full breakdown, then like we'll find a way to make it work. But to be fair, I feel like what y'all want is them sweet hot takes.
Yeah.
And listen, 1 watch, that's just a recap. 2 watches, because often we'll watch the video, we'll watch Trek, and but super late at night. And then like we'll rewatch it like Saturday or Sunday or Monday. And the second time around is when we do our Trek Jive.
Yeah.
And those are the ones where we're like, this was such a great episode, but also this motherfucker was giving like a weird smile. What's this about?
Yeah. Do you want more hot takes from us?
Is that more hot takes? Like that kind of energy. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited for the upcoming year, and like we kind of went into this conversation with y'all a bit without a plan, but the idea was more
not even a bit. Fully without a plan.
Yeah, that's fair.
As you may well have guessed by this point in
fully's
time.
a kind of bit.
No. We were like, this is the topic of the video. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, and I think one of the reasons why we kind of approached it this way is because it's something that we're going to try and strive more towards, is more content, but less structure.
Yeah.
Less organized structure. So that way you kind of get a better glimpse of like the just truly weird lives we live.
Yeah.
Man. We haven't finished that insane sci-fi show.
Yeah,
and
we
have to make a video about that. We have so many things we're gonna make videos about.
Yeah.
So like, hold on to your pants. Videos are coming. And they're probably only gonna get more weird with time. So again, threat promise.
Yeah.
How do you feel about those?
Let's add that to the dictionary for next year.
Yeah.
Threat promises.
Threat promise.
Yeah. And
It's
with
one
that,
word, no spaces.
I think it's safe for us to wish you a happy Yule, a Merry Christmas, and a happy and prosperous New Year.
Yeah. And happy Hanukkah and happy Kwanzaa.
And all of the things in between.
I don't know, whatever you say. Blessed solstice and
Blessed solstice. Happy birthday if your birthday is in this
happy
time
birthday.
frame. Yep. We don't know.
100%.
Yeah.
Backflip Festivus. Yeah. I don't know, whatever. A fun thing and a holiday.
A
Who cares?
seasonal Santa.
You know what?
Yeah, we don't know.
You know what? Fight the darkness and the cold. We'll see you on the other side with a bunch of new content, a bunch of old content, a bunch of changed content, maybe some blue content, but no weddings.
We already did that.
We already did that. But no weddings.
No,
maybe.
no weddings. We're done. We did that
But maybe.
already. No.
But maybe. Yeah. Threat promise.
What? No.
Second wedding. 12th wedding.
12th wedding.
12th wedding.
No, we're not doing that. No.
It was too much work. Oh my
Too
god.
much work. We're stopping.
Yeah.
We landed on.
We did one. Well, no more.
We landed on fairy tea. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you're marrying the fake king.
I already did.
How's Santa Claus doing?
I already did.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. So yeah, leave out cookies and milk. The reindeer, they're aggressive. It's not important. It's not important. Anywho, we will see you guys later. Thank you for this probably deranged energy YouTube video. This has been a great year. You guys are the best. You keep us doing, honestly, whatever the hell this is. Sometimes we sit down for a video and I am unsure of what's happening as I'm talking, which is a fun place to be as a person of shattered mind. But, as this year ends and the next begins, we look forward to spending more time with you guys, to sharing more and celebrating more and bringing people along for blots, a thing we didn't even, Sabbats, a thing we didn't even bring up. It's fine. It's fine. We have so many plans. Don't worry. There's a bunch of plans and inevitably the sieve of truth will filter out the insanity and you'll get nuggets of slightly less insanity. I was going to say truth, but that's a lie.
No.
So, whatever. That sieve might just be a plate. We will catch you guys later. Stay safe. Stay warm in this winter time. Unless you live in the Southern Hemisphere, then stay cool, bro. It's hot out there. And we will catch you guys next time for more whatever the fuck this is. Love you guys. Stay magical and stay frosty. I've been John Norgrove. This has been Wife. This has been, I don't know, Nerd Jive or something. I might have to make an entire new banner for this absolute nonsense that has been occurring. And we will see you guys in 2024. Another hallmark year of things that are too important because being a millennial is just
exhausting.
A fucking lot, guys. Have a good one and stay safe. We love you. You're the best. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah.